About the book of Ecclesiastes, Pesach. You said there's a time for peace and a time for war. What time is it?
Yeah, that verse, that whole section in Ecclesiastes, a time to build and a time to destroy and a time to love and a time to hate and a time, it sounds almost like a nursery rhyme, and people don't realize how difficult that passage really is, because when Ecclesiastes, which was written by King Solomon, when Ecclesiastes says that there's a time for war and a time for peace, it's really saying to us that we need to know what time it is, and we need to know how to pivot, because as people of faith, we want it to be a time for peace. We always strive for peace. We work for peace. That's the ultimate goal. And if we think that we're in a time for peace and really it is a time for war because our enemies brought that upon us, or because the time has come to defeat evil, then we're going to make grave mistakes. We have to know that it's a time for war. And the Bible actually instructs us on how to pray during a time of war. And I'd like to turn everyone's attention to Psalm 83. There's a lot of people who are wondering about what to pray right now, what exactly we're praying for. Psalm 83 is really a prayer in time of war. It's a prayer for defeat of the enemy, for defeat of those who stand in the way of God's will being revealed. And most importantly, in the very final verses of that psalm, beseeching God for victory over our enemies, it specifically asks God to bring shame upon our enemies 3 times in the last 3 verses. And it might be a little bit confusing to people, like, why do I care if my enemies feel shame? I just want them defeated. I want them to leave me alone. But the psalm itself answers the question. The final line of Psalm 83 says, so that they may know that God is most high over all the earth. The only way, I'll translate this into political terminology, Chris. In World War II, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared that the only acceptable end to the war was unconditional surrender by Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, who were both genocidal ideologies, he wasn't just saying we want total victory. He was making an ethical point, a moral point. The only way to to change the mindset of people who are indoctrinated by an evil ideology is to bring unequivocal defeat on that ideology. When they see their leaders unequivocally surrendering or being unequivocally defeated, that causes people to have a change of heart. And that's what that psalm is saying. By bringing shame upon our enemies, shame means that people only feel shame if they recognize they've done something wrong. Right now, these jihadist enemies don't feel shame. They're proud of what they do. When this psalm calls for shame upon our enemies, it's really calling for the whole world to recognize the true definitions of good and evil so that God can reign supreme over all the earth. Yeah. So everyone should be praying Psalm 83 at this time.